Welcome to today's explainer, and wow, do we have a truly special one for you. We're going to dive right in and narrate the story from writer Umakanth Kodi, titled Tears of Joy. And let me tell you, this isn't just your standard biographical recount. It is this intensely emotional, almost cinematic exploration of motherhood, the absolute crazy workings of fate, and what it really means to just surrender. We've got a lot of incredibly moving ground to cover today, so let's get started. To set the stage for everything we're about to talk about, check out this breathtaking quote from Kodi's tale. "He does not need my eyes to see me. I do not need my eyes to find my son." This right here, this is the entire soul of our explainer today. We're unpacking a story that asks one massive question. How does unconditional love keep seeing, even when you're in total darkness? But to really grasp the weight of that, we first have to understand the woman who lived it.
Section 1. A life defined by loss.
Okay, so to truly get our protagonist, Sharada Devi, you've got to understand the compounding hardships she went through from day one. Her life was basically marked by loss right out of the gate. Her mother passes away early on, so she's sent to live with her uncle. Then she gets married, but there's no safe harbor there. Her toxic husband completely abandons her when she's just 3 months pregnant. But becoming a mother sparked this incredible light in her. She raised her son, Samikshram, as a fiercely devoted single mom. Everything was finally making sense until tragedy struck its absolute worst blow. During a pilgrimage to the Shirdi temple, her 4-year-old son was swallowed up by this massive chaotic crowd, just vanished.
Section 2. Surrender and a new path.
You can only imagine that kind of loss. It completely broke her, but it also brought her to a major crossroads. Instead of just packing up and heading home to Hyderabad, Sharada Devi refused to leave Shirdi. She spent 2.5 agonizing years right there, just waiting for destiny to give her an answer. But here is where the story pivots. Over that time, she went through this profound internal shift. She went from frantically searching every single crowd, begging the universe for her boy back, to finding this quiet new purpose. A local temple priest guided her to work at an orphanage ashram, and she took all of that blocked maternal love. Actually, scratch that. She didn't just take it, she multiplied it, pouring it into all these abandoned kids. Total spiritual surrender. And it was at this exact ashram that everything changed again. A young, blind orphan is brought in. He didn't even know his real name, just that he liked being called Ram. Now, what's so fascinating here is they had this immediate, almost instinctive bond. Even though he couldn't see her face, he knew her footsteps. He could literally sense her silent tears. For Sharada, this little boy reflected her own journey. He taught her that true motherhood doesn't need sight, and it certainly doesn't require biological certainty. It's just a state of being.
Section 3. The Protector awakens.
Realizing she had found her purpose again, Sharada officially adopts the boy. She renames him Samich, Ram, bringing together his spiritual name with her lost son's name, and they board the Ajanta Express to head home to Hyderabad. But of course, the universe had another test. Picture this, it's the dead of midnight, and violent robbers break into their train compartment. Does she panic? No way. She quietly moves the blind child into the next car, hides him, and whispers for him to stay put. Then, this woman, who had spent her whole life silently taking whatever suffering came her way, marches back in and fiercely fights off an armed gang. Her totally fearless defiance rallies the other passengers, and the robbers actually flee. She wasn't just a survivor anymore, she was a protector. So they finally make it back to Hyderabad and settle into this beautiful, peaceful resilience. She enrolls Samiksh in a special school for the visually impaired, and the kid doesn't just do well, he completely excels. He uses his incredible memory and hearing to navigate the world, becoming this huge inspiration of calm confidence for everyone. And their bond? Unbreakable. Especially after Sharda accidentally fell on him once, breaking his arm. I know, terrible, right? But she spent 3 straight months nursing him day and night. It just proves that going through the hard stuff together only makes a mother's love stronger.
Section 4. The Miracle of Destiny.
Okay, so years pass in this quiet, happy harmony. But then, completely out of the blue, Sharada gets an urgent phone call. It's Guruji Shankaraya from the Shirdi ashram, and he's summoning her back alone. She leaves Samikshi safe in Hyderabad and makes the trip. When she gets there, the Guruji drops a bombshell that absolutely shifts the ground beneath her. He asks, could the blind orphan she saved actually be the son she lost? He tells her that years ago, a nurse had found a blind child wandering completely alone right near the Shirdi temple and brought him to the ashram.
Let the Guruji's words sink in for a second. When you adopted him, hearing your life story, I believe this child is your real son. It's almost too wild to comprehend. Through her total, unconditional surrender,
Destiny had quietly worked a miracle. The universe literally handed her biological child right back into her open arms. The boy she chose to love when she thought she had absolutely nothing left to give was her Samich the entire time.
Section 5. Her final, lasting gift.
Obviously overwhelmed with pure joy, Sharada immediately jumps on a night bus back to Hyderabad. She has to tell her family this beautiful miracle. But on the highway that night, a horrific fire engulfs her bus. She's rushed to the hospital with critical injuries, and it's there that a completely devastating, hidden truth comes out. Something she had kept secret to protect her family. Sharada Devi had been battling terminal throat cancer for 2 years. Between the severe burns and her advanced cancer, her body just couldn't fight anymore. There was zero possibility of recovery.
Meanwhile, little Samich is literally on stage at his school, performing a play in a Joker costume. He gets pulled right off the stage and rushed to the ICU. In their heartbreaking final meeting, a dying Sharada touches her son's face, and she makes him one last cryptic promise. She whispers, "I will come back to you soon, with a beautiful gift." And that very night, she passed away.
It didn't take long for the profound meaning behind that final promise to come to light. You see, 2 years earlier, right when she found out about her terminal cancer, she made a silent, steadfast pledge to donate her eyes. Her final act on this earth was fulfilling that exact pledge, successfully giving her son the gift of sight. Talk about coming full circle. She gave her life completely, without a single regret, and literally became the light that would guide his way for the rest of his life.
And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our explainer. Love that can see even when the eyes cannot. Umakanth Kodi's narrative is just an absolute masterclass in showing us that true vision isn't about biology or eyesight. It's about the boundless capacity of the human heart to endure, to serve, and to just let go. Sharada Devi didn't need eyes to find her son, and in the end she gave him hers so he could finally see the world. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? In our own lives, how often do we limit our love to only what we can physically see? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey today. See you next time.